Welcome to another episode of Three's a Crowd. I'm Preston Vargas, joined by my co-host Eli Atwood. And Eli,
Welcome, everybody.
fun weekend of college football. Right.
Oh, yeah, had a great weekend. There were a ton of good games this week. We saw that number one versus number three matchup. Saw some other upsets happen. Bill
Yeah.
Belichick. Lots to talk over today.
Yeah, speaking of Bill Belichick, we'll start with that. Bill Belichick in North Carolina lose 48 to 14 at home versus TCU. No, it wasn't the best start for Belichick's career at Chapel Hill. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a rough first start, but at the same time, you got to remember UNC hasn't been great the past few years. I think people thought Bill Belichick was going to come in and it was just going to be like a switch gets turned and automatically they're amazing.
Yeah.
But this might be something that takes a season or two to come into play.
Let's not forget they had, I think, 70 transfers come in and barely any returners, just like what Colorado had with Deion Sanders in his first year.
Exactly. And coming into that, you're going to have a lot of turmoil in the first game because nobody's played with each other. They're still trying to build some chemistry. So even throughout the rest of the season, we could see them still make a return here.
Yeah, I mean, Sonny Dykes came in, said last night after the game that they had a chip on their shoulder because they felt like no one was talking about them in this game, even though they were the opponent. And they went to a national championship game, although lost by 60 to Georgia in that game. They're still a decent contender in the Big 12, and it showed last night.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the past year or so wasn't too great for TCU, but going back, I mean, we're not that far removed from whenever they were in that national championship. So I
Yeah,
think there's still some promise here for TCU and shown today, Hoover looked good. I think he had almost 300 yards, so not a bad performance for him starting out.
yeah. On the other side of North Carolina, I think there was a stat where Gio Lopez, their quarterback, didn't complete a pass for 2 hours and 8 minutes. Two
Yeah,
hours and
that's
eight
crazy.
minutes of not
I think he
completing
ended
a
up getting
pass.
replaced there at the end, right?
Yeah, by Max Johnson, their starting quarterback from last year, who got hurt in the first game of the season.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, either option, they still only put up 14 points, so not a great look for them.
Started out, I thought we were gonna have a good game. They went down the field quickly to score to make it 7-0.
Yeah, I mean, the start off strong and then died.
Yeah.
That's the
Turning point of that
problem.
game really came when with that pick six by TCU toward the end of the first half. And then it was just turnover, scooping scores.
Yeah, nothing going to plan for Belichick there.
It was the first time in any coaching career for him, NFL or college, he allowed 48 points in a game.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy stat there. I mean, to be fair, college is a little bit more offensive heavy, but still,
Yeah. But you still had two defensive scores as well.
yeah,
And then North Carolina's next game, they go on the road to Charlotte in the American Conference.
on the road to Charlotte, that's an interesting one there.
I mean, it's a game they should win. The lines came out, they're only a 14-point favorite, but minus 578, according to CBS Sports.
Yeah, I mean, going into that game, you got Charlotte, who's obviously not the best team historically, not the worst, but
And they got blown out in
going
the
against a Power Five opponent's not going to be easy for them.
for sure. They were blown out 34 to 11 against App State on Friday in the Dukes Mayo Classic.
Yeah, exactly. I think that shows you enough.
So that's where Belichick should get his first win. Then they play Richmond, then go to UCF to play, which they're probably not going to win that game. That game a much more winnable game for us on the schedule.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a rough first week for UCF, but an even rougher one for UNC. So,
Yeah, I mean at least we won our game,
exactly.
even though we should have blown them out. That's another conversation for a different time. But let's go into another. season debut that didn't go so well. Arch Manning in Texas losing 14-7 against Ohio State. Now, made it interesting. They've had a couple drives stopped in the red zone, which was the turning point for that game. That Ohio State defense led by Matt Patricia, always doing well.
Yeah, for sure. Ohio State defense held up really well there in the red zone. I think that was ultimately what won them that game. I mean, Texas just couldn't get drives finished.
Yeah, the stat line for Arch, 170 yards passing, one touchdown, one interception. He started off slow, but then he got it going in the fourth quarter, but it was a little bit too late for that.
Yeah, it's too little, too late type of situation there.
I mean, CJ Baxter didn't have the best game on the ground, only 40 yards rushing, which I think he's the backup now to Quintravion Wisner, who had 80 yards on the day in 16 rushing attempts.
Yeah, and I think Manning there, he didn't look good, but I think maybe the play calling also didn't help. It seemed like there were a lot of dump offs early in the game, and it was like they couldn't get anything going on offense. I don't know if he wasn't reading the field or if that was designed that way, but it was just a slow start all around.
I mean, when I was watching that game, um, Manning looked like he had a couple guys drop balls in crucial situations. CJ Baxter dropped a few when he was targeted,
Yeah, that's true.
or actually no, Wingo, 8 targets, only 2 receptions.
Yeah,
Ryan Wingo.
that's can't be doing that.
There is one play late in the game in a crucial spot. Manning threw to him and it hit him right in the hands, and then just dropped it. It would have gone for a first down.
Yeah, I mean, definitely didn't look like the Texas team we saw last year.
It's still early in the season. They play San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston in non-conference play before the
Oh,
gauntlet of
for
the
sure. I
SEC
mean,
starts.
they've got some easy wins there.
Then on the other side, Ohio State, Julian Sayin looked pretty good. 13 for 20, 126 yards. Not the best passing day, but he got it down the field when it mattered the most. Got into the
Yeah,
end zone.
not too bad, really. I mean, for a guy with no experience, could have been a lot worse.
And Texas defense is also a good one as well.
Yeah, the Texas defense didn't look bad, but I'd say the Ohio State defense did look a little better, though.
Yeah, for sure. Under Matt Patricia, it wasn't a pretty game for the neutral, but for the football purists, a good defensive battle week one. I think we'll definitely see the one of those teams win the national championship.
Yeah.
And then moving on to another game, another top 10 game later that night, Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers. He was 0 for 3, I think, going into week one games, but finally got over the hump against Clemson,
Yeah, and I mean,
Death
what a game to
Valley.
do it there.
I mean, it was a good showdown all around there in Clemson, South Carolina. Garrett Nussmeier leading the charge for the LSU Tigers. And then you saw Cade Klubnik. He didn't have the best day. Still threw for over 200 yards, but threw a pick, no touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad performance, but for those type of guys, you do expect a little bit of a higher standard.
This win will set the tone for the rest of the season for LSU, and they got Florida coming up in their first SEC game. The not this week, but next week.
Yeah, I mean, Florida top 25 team this year, so should be a pretty formidable opponent. We'll see who's able to come out of that one.
And then for Clemson, they were the number four team in the SEC, or number four ranked team, first in the SEC, ACC. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
they'll they'll have Troy before getting into their conference slate, starting with Georgia Tech on September 13th. So we'll see how they do. They avoid Miami on the schedule, but they play SMU, which is their toughest ACC opponent.
Yeah, I mean, being able to avoid Miami and Florida State too, it sounds like
They
it's
have Florida State on
oh,
the
do they? I
coming
would
up.
say Florida State's probably going to end up being a tougher opponent this year than SMU. We'll see what happens, but after beating number 8 Alabama to start off the year, that is a pretty solid statement. We'll see if they're able to keep up the success or not, though.
Yeah, that's another a good win for Florida State, which we'll go to a little later in the show. But I mean, that Florida State game for Clemson is going to be at home, so it should be a little bit easier. But and they have UNC on the road against Bill Belichick, which that should be a win, no
Yeah, from
question
what we've
there.
seen so far, I don't think that'll be an issue for him.
And then you mentioned Florida State. Let's go to their upset win over Alabama, beating them by a score of 31 to 17. Tommy Castellanos looked good in his debut. 9 for 14, 152 yards, but he had 78 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. So, what does this win mean for the Florida State Seminoles and the rest of the ACC?
I mean, Florida State definitely established themselves here as a run-heavy team, which is something that's a little bit different than what they've been doing the past couple of years. So I think that's going to hopefully work out well for him. Castellanos, he's worked in the a similar system before.
With Gus
So
Malzahn at UCF,
exactly with Gus at UCF and now at Florida State, he's kind of continuing that skill. So we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the year. They've got Clemson, and we'll see what happens there.
I mean, you mentioned rush heavy team. They had 230 rushing yards in the game total against Alabama. They got an easier opponent, East Texas A&M, this Saturday before facing Miami at home October 14th. That's going to be a good one for them.
Yeah, yeah, that should be a good game here. We'll see. Miami had a great start to this course, and then FSU with a strong start. We'll see who's able to come out on top there.
And then on the other side for Alabama, what does this loss do for them?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not a good look for Alabama and the coaching staff. I mean, I think you had four unranked losses versus
Yeah.
Nick Saban, and now you already have four with the new staff. That's not a good look. I mean, even though they haven't been horrible, it's not the success you expect with Alabama.
I mean, no, not at all. You had, like you said, that stat four unranked losses for Kalen DeBoer. Nick Saban only had four unranked losses throughout his whole tenure at Alabama. And looking at them, they need to do something or DeBoer will find himself fired.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we'll see what happens this year, if they're able to pick up the rest of the season or not.
And they'll have a week against UL Monroe and then Wisconsin the next week, which they'll have to do something. But Ty Simpson, he wasn't really the problem. 254 passing yards, two touchdowns. So he played solid. Just the defense fell apart for them.
Yeah, I think that was the main issue. I think a lot of people blame that game on Simpson, but I don't really see that as the case.
I mean, he had 28 completions, three sacks.
Yeah, I mean, sure, there's a few problems, but at the same time, it's a whole team game, not just one player.
Then they lost Ryan Williams, who got news he's in concussion protocol after that hit that he took toward the end of the game.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully he's able to get out of that quickly.
Yeah, hopefully before they play Georgia in a couple weeks in a big
Yeah, for
SEC
sure.
showdown.
They'll need him for them.
Then there's one more college game to talk about. Sunday night, what a game down at South Beach between Notre Dame and Miami. Hurricanes won 27 to 24 under Carson Beck's debut. He went 20 for 30, 205 yards, two passing touchdowns. So I think this changes the outlook for the ACC for sure.
Yeah, I think Miami winning here, Clemson losing, that definitely puts Miami on the top of the conference, The ACC in recent years has gotten a lot of criticism for being a weak conference, but I do think with this FSU win, with the Miami win here, they're kind of reinserting themselves into holding strong their Power Four designation.
I think so too. I think the problem with the ACC is that the middle to bottom are very weak, but the top are really top heavy.
Yeah, exactly. You've got some really good top teams, and even the middle, there's some middle teams that aren't bad, but
Yeah,
the low is low in the ACC, and that's the issue that they've had as a conference.
especially when you have Stanford losing to Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, how does that happen?
I mean, you have to you got to do better if you're the bottom to lift the conference up. And you also got to spend more in this day and age in college football.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the problem, some of these smaller, less football focused schools, it's going to be a little tougher for that.
And historically, the ACC is a basketball conference.
Yeah, which even recently the basketball has been struggling a little bit, but it's kind of the same
Yeah.
issue they've been having with football at the top being heavy, but hopefully for the sake of the conference, that'll get figured out this year as well.
I'm for sure we'll have to see that. But Notre Dame, CJ Card, he looked good, but wasn't able to get it done at the end. What do you think this loss will do for Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible loss for Notre Dame. They lost on the final minutes to that field goal and nearly had it. I mean, just a few more plays go their way, they're winning this game. So obviously, being number six, losing number 10, that's a slight upset, but it's not really. I mean, week one, you don't really
Yeah.
know going into there. It's an away game. I don't think this will really hurt them too much as long as they're able to push off this rough start and keep going.
Difference maker for that game was that insane touchdown catch for Miami. That if that wasn't caught, they would have been picked off.
Yeah, for sure. That was a crazy catch.
That happened right in the middle of our fantasy draft.
Yeah.
And what a catch that was. I mean, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois to last season and made the national championship game. So we'll see on their schedule. I think they have Texas A&M next week.
Yeah, I mean, Texas A&M, not a bad opponent there. SEC, they've always been strong with the NIL money. So we'll see
Mhm.
if that turns into anything.
And they beat them at College Station last year. This will be at South Bend. Then they got Boise State at home. That should be a good one. This is the only ranked opponent left. But the
Yeah, Boise
rest
State's
are,
probably fallen off ranking out of after the loss this week to USF
oh
though.
yeah, that's
So
true.
I don't know if Boise State is what it was last year without Genty. Genty was such a big part of that team, and there's a clear hole.
But with Notre Dame, they all their opponents are Power Four opponents except for Boise State and Navy.
Yeah, and I mean Boise State, they made the playoffs last year, so probably one of the best group of five teams there. And then Navy, always a bit of a tough game. You got to come prepared because they run that unusual
Hmm.
military academy offense, makes it a little bit tougher. So you always got to watch out.
That game played in November at Notre Dame. That should be a good one. Or yeah, that is at Notre Dame. That's not one of their Shamrock Series games, which I don't know where they're gonna do it this year. But should we get into the NFL or talk about one more college game since we have time?
Whatever you'd like. I mean, I think we could just go into the NFL here.
All right, NFL, we'll talk about Micah Parsons needing to receive an epidural to injection to play this Sunday. What does that mean for them, for the
Yeah,
Packers?
I mean, apparently this has been an ongoing issue, but it wasn't as much of an issue as it is now, seemingly.
Yeah,
But from what I saw, the Packers didn't completely realize that it would be an issue during the physical.
yeah.
So he passed through, and I don't think it really was talked about, brought up at all during the contract negotiations. So it's not a great look for the Packers management there.
Yeah, not a good look at all. I mean, Micah Parsons, we thought he was faking it in Dallas to hold out, but it's apparently a real back injury.
Yeah, definitely. Like, why didn't you know this? And then continuing on, I mean, back injury is pretty serious stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not going to affect his play probably, but it's going to affect his motor, his drive. He's going to be in pain probably for a lot of the games. So,
I mean, I could definitely see him sitting week one. He says he wants to play, but he's had no training camp and he just got there under a new system in Green
yeah,
Bay. So,
and he's hurt. It's kind of, I mean, the amount they paid for him too is crazy contract. So it's like you're paying that much for a guy who is injured and might not even be playing the entire year.
I think he just misses the one game. I don't think it will be that
Well,
bad.
I think this
They're
is
playing the
supposed to be a
Lions for sure.
recurring problem for him. Like I don't think it's a few week and a fix.
Yeah.
From what I saw, he was going to need those shots every week. So
I mean, as an injury standpoint, you don't want to see him miss too much time. But if you're a Bears fan like me,
doesn't
or
hurt
like
too
us,
much.
yeah, it will it would be okay a little bit, but not in a good sense for
Yeah,
him personally.
exactly.
But then we are only 2 days away as we sit here from NFL action with the Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, defending Super Bowl champions. Now, that game shadowed by Micah Parsons trade away from the Cowboys. Eagles fans will probably pour fuel on that fire throughout the game.
Oh, for sure.
As it stands now, they opened as a 7.5 point favorite. Now it's an 8.5 point favorite. That line keeps moving further and further away. So, what do you expect from this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to run away with this one. They've definitely got the better team offensively and defensively, so it's going to make it really tough for Cowboys to be able to get through this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same because I'm sorry to Cowboys fans, but I think it's going to be a 20-point blowout win for them.
Yeah, I could definitely see something like that being a possibility. I mean, we'll see, but still not feeling great. The Cowboys, you never know with Dak Prescott how well he's going to do.
Yeah,
So we'll see what happens, but not looking good for him.
I think that it's going to be a 20-point blowout. And my bold prediction from this game is that it's not going to come from Saquon Barkley running all over them. I think it'll come from Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, the air game, because the Cowboys said they wanted to stop the run. So I guess they got to stop
Yeah,
the run.
speaking of Cowboys stopping the run, I mean, if they're stopping the run, they're not stopping the air, but at the same time, the Cowboys, I don't think they're going to be running at all. I think my prediction might be no single rusher on the Cowboys goes over 30 yards. I mean, this Eagles defense is going to destroy their running backs.
And the question is, who is the Cowboys running back? They don't have Tony Pollard anymore, no Zeke.
That's a great question. I think Javonte Williams is listed as the number one
That's
right now, but he
He
has
was
not
good
been
in
good
Denver.
in since that rookie year.
He was good in Denver, tore his ACL, never the same.
Never the
And
same.
he's their number
And
one.
I think they have Miles Sanders maybe also, who's never really been great.
Eagles fans know
Mediocre
he's
at
that's for
best.
sure.
Yeah.
Not a good running back room. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. Lots of NFL football to get into on Friday's show. Don't forget to join us there. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Three's a Crowd.